Hello and happy Friday. This is Jets Chaos here, and I'm here. I'm finally going to speak out about Elijah Moore. I haven't had the chance. If you saw me on Twitter, you'll know that I'm not happy. Not a happy man. And I'm going to be back, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm not happy, although you can figure it out. But I'm going to make my arguments because there are, and I'm not saying it's a lot, there are Jet fans out there that are actually defending Elijah Moore's actions. And this is about intelligence at this point. This is about look, I'll talk about it when I get back, but there's no defending Elijah Moore in this, okay? There's no justification. So if you're not going to be able to hear that, I warn you right now, there's not going to be justification, okay? When I hire a teacher onto my team, and we're a team, and the students are doing well, and the school's doing well, and we're succeeding as a team, and somebody's not getting what they want, and broadcast it out to everyone, instead of talking to their supervisor behind closed doors, even the families of the students, and starts pointing something out they're not happy about, and threatens to leave. Do you know what I do as the assistant principal? I open the door and I say goodbye. So I wanted to go right to my little intro video, but I couldn't wait to say it. Elijah Moore, if you want out, nah, we're not going to make it that easy for you. What we're going to do is we got you for the rest of this season and 2 more years. And until you stick your little tail between your legs and you come begging back as you realize what a little child and a little baby you were for throwing your little temper tantrum, maybe we'll let you play again, or maybe we'll let you just rot for 2.5 years, not to the end of the season, 2.5 years. Let's see what kind of contract you get so you can take care of your business and your money and your God's plan, because you got to feed your family and all that stuff, even though you're going to make $4 to $5 million in your rookie contract, which is more than most of us will make in our lifetime doing actual work, not playing a game. So that's what we're in for tonight, guys. And we'll talk a little bit about Denver, too. Be right back after this. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
One of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today, you can't get rid of him.
Right, it's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.
And I'm back. And I see already in the chat somebody is saying, and I'm not even against this, just so you know. So don't worry, buddy. I'm not going to attack you for saying this. But Randy Lucas says, let's not forget he's 22. And we don't know how much his manager had to do with this. Okay, so I don't think his agent would have had anything to do with this. He threw a temper tantrum in practice. The request for the trade came later. So let's straighten that out. The agent wouldn't complain right now because the agent is able to look at numbers and understands this business. Okay. Elijah Moore's had 106 pass attempts thrown at him. 106 in his first 17 games. That's more than Tyreek Hill. That's more than Cooper Kupp. That's more than Devontae Adams. He's gotten fed the ball over the course of 17 games, one season, more than all of those players did their first season. So there's nothing to complain about. We've hit a couple of games, Green Bay and Denver, that have elite secondaries. And to attack their secondary with Elijah Moore and try to pass the ball with our second-year developing quarterback is losing. That means we lose. We won. We beat Green Bay because we picked a game plan that gave us the best chance of winning. And that's what we want, right? We want to win. A team player is supposed to say, yes, when we play New England, Elijah Moore would have gotten his opportunities. When we play a lot of teams, Buffalo, their secondary is battered up. We're going to try some quick slants, quick passes. But the game plan against teams like Denver and Green Bay that have elite secondaries where that's the strength of their defense, you find other ways. And if it works, you celebrate that with your team. But Elijah didn't. And you know why he had a breakdown in practice on Wednesday? He had a meltdown in practice on Wednesday or Thursday, whichever day it was. I think it was Wednesday. Because, and he, by the way, gave away, not that they didn't know, but he confirmed our game plan to Denver, by the way. By throwing a temper tantrum, Denver knows why he did it. Because we were going to go with the same game plan or a similar game plan than the one we did with Green Bay. And that's why he threw a temper tantrum, because they walked through the game plan. And it was very obvious that we were going to be heavily based run again. And we were going to use him as a decoy and send him deep to clear the box, which is what we did in Green Bay. And it won us the game. And when you're on a team, you're supposed to go along with what wins the game. If you're losing, you can complain. You can even complain if we're winning, but not throwing a temper tantrum in practice, not having your agent go public and say, I request a trade, by going behind closed doors and talking to Saleh. You can't, in your 17th game, in your 18th game of your career, sit there and say, I got to take care of my money. He's got 2 more years this season and 2 more years left. You know how you take care of your money? You shut up, you work hard, and you help the team become a winner. Because you know how much teams, you know the extra bonus you get on your salary when you come from a winning team? You can leave in free agency. That's his right. And do you know how much he'll get paid? You think that NFL GMs are going to look at his stats and say, well, he only got 800 yards. That's not what they look at. They're going to know that the Jets are a running team. They're going to know, oh, there's Garrett Wilson. There's Corey Davis. They spread the ball around. They have this elite star in Breece Hall. They're going to know that. They have all 22. They have the cameras. They get to watch all the film. They're going to see exactly who Elijah Moore is. It doesn't matter if he has the numbers or not. They're going to see. They're going to see who he is. Amari Cooper had 700 yards for Dallas last year. He wasn't good. He played 15 games and had 700 yards. And he got $20 million a year from Cleveland. Do you know why? Because Cleveland looked at the film. And the film showed that he gets open. The film showed that he's a great route runner. The film showed that. So he still got his money. But if you want your money, the best way to get your money is to be a role model and a leader. Because guess what? McDonald's and Nike and Gatorade give you and make you much, much richer than your contract ever will. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan built a billion-dollar brands, not on their salaries, on their image. And Elijah Moore just took his image and flushed it down the toilet. Now, I understand he's 22, my friend, and you're right. He can make Randy, he can make good again, but he's going to have to do it. It's not going to be us apologizing to him. It's not going to be changing the game plan to appease him. What it's going to be is Elijah Moore has to realize he has to not talk to his best friend, A.B. Brown, who's encouraging this nonsense. And he's going to have to talk to somebody intelligent, somebody educated, who's going to have to calm him down and explain to him that he is a second-year player, 6 games into his career, developing at his position, being paid a lot of money by a team that invested a very high draft pick on him, and that he's already went out there. It's on Twitter. We all watched it in the press conference. It's out there for you to look up from last year. After game number 4, Elijah Moore said, I don't care if I get 0 receptions. As long as this team is winning, I'll do whatever it takes to help them win. Right? So he just totally went against what he said because somebody like his stupid friend, A.B. Brown, decided that he needs to open his stupid, uneducated mouth and decide to tell a second-year player he was entitled to more balls, more catches, so he can earn more money for his contract. It is complete nonsense. It is selfish, and it is wrong. And can he be forgiven? Can he make it up? Yes, because he's 22. You're right, Randy. He's not 30. He's not 35. He's not a veteran. He's 22. So, yes, he can be forgiven. But he's going to have to put his tail between his legs, and he's going to have to beg. He's going to have to beg for that forgiveness. And he's going to have to make it up to this team because he created a distraction, which could hurt us on Sunday. And we are missing our WR2, our number 2 receiver, because of his actions. And there is consequences for that because he might be 22, but he's a professional. No one is telling him we're not paying you this much money. You don't get to have your money because you're only 22. You're a 22-year-old man responsible for your own actions. Tell an 18-year-old that served in Vietnam or the Persian Gulf and watched their friends get blown up that they're 22, and a 22-year-old gets to throw a tantrum over football because he wants to make more millions of dollars. And see what that person who had his friends blown up in war at 18 years old tells you about being only 22. He's 22. He's responsible for his own actions. Anthony, don't blame Elijah. He was hallucinating some ghost pepper. I saw that joke. I like it. David Gerard, what's going on, my friends? I thought he was quoted. Yeah, I think maybe he's drunk, right? Like not thinking clearly. He was bummed about the game, maybe down on himself, but then he goes into practice the next day and throws a fit and ends up going home. And you know what? He could use some rice pudding. You're absolutely right, Hank. It helped me. Dick Timmy knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah, he likes to stir the pot. I mean, I think it was going to happen anyway, possibly. If not, this is why they should not let Rich Cimini in the press room. This is why he should be banned. They should say to him, you are an old dinosaur. Your intentions are bad. You're only looking to make money. And we're not going to accept you into here because you're a troublemaker. And it's our locker room, and we have the legal right to ban you from it. And I wish they would. I really wish they would. Hey, Jake Finnegan, what's up? Hank G, Randy Lucas, you had a good comment. You're 100% right. Welcome. He is 22, and I was going to get to that. That's why we absolutely have to allow him to make good. But let me tell you something. He showed his colors, okay? Even if he comes back, he's going to have to come back and do a lot to ever be re-signed. I mean, he can come back and play again, make it up to his team, become a great player, play for us, finish his 4 years. But for us to sign him to an extension, we're going to have to be very wary because he just showed how easy it is for him to be influenced to behave the way he behaved. And can you imagine him with a $25-30 million a year contract and he has us locked in for $100 million guaranteed? Then he can do whatever he wants. And are we really going to empower him to do that after what he just showed? He's going to have to spend the 2.5 years convincing us that it's worth the risk. Yeah, look, it may have been his agent. Who knows? Agents are slime, but it doesn't matter. He's 22. He's got to control his emotions. They've done nothing but to set this kid up to look good. Okay, 106 targets. You can't have a better opportunity than that. They gave him a better opportunity than any of those great wide receivers I mentioned had in his first 2 years. He had so many passes thrown to him, so many targets. He has nothing to cry and nothing to complain about. And by the way, I wish Dom C was here and we could show you the tape if we had time. He was covered, guys. He wasn't open. He was not open against Green Bay, and everybody else says he's the most open wide receiver. They don't throw him the ball enough. 106 targets. They throw him the ball enough. Guess what? There's other players on the team too. He's not now. He's going to be like Tyreek Hill and think every play the ball should be thrown to him. I'm sorry, no, that's not how we do it. I like how they all say thank God and God is everything when there's no such thing. Okay. So we're not going to share our religious beliefs, but it is hypocritical. It is hypocritical to say it's God's plan. So you're saying, like, which is just ridiculous. You're saying God is telling you to be greedy. Well, you should actually understand the Bible that you're reading and everything you're reading about God. If you want to put your faith there, that's great. Put your faith there. But understand that one of the deadly sins is greed, right? Or what is it? What's the name of it? I forgot. Arrogance. What's that word for you? Oh my God, I'm forgetting the word. What's the deadly sins? What the one? Pride. No, arrogance. I'm forgetting it. Somebody will put it in the chat later, and I'll remember. But anyway, you're not supposed to be selfish and greedy about yourself and hurt people around you. So he's definitely a living hypocrisy. Adam is alive. He didn't even throw up. I suffered Thursday morning, people. I suffered like nobody's business. I mean, I don't even want to get into details. I suffered. Then I had to go to work. I suffered more. But hey, man, made some money. I'm just here to say this real quick. Mims is going to put Surtain in a blender and go for 100 plus 2 touchdowns. I don't know if Surtain is going to cover Denzel Mims. I think they're going to put Surtain on Corey Davis because Corey Davis is clearly Zach's favorite receiver. But whoever covers him, I hope Denzel Mims goes crazy. But I'm not going to sit there and proclaim that he will because I did that before and he's let us down multiple times. I'm hopeful that Mims will show up. Yeah, he's a child. He should be. I don't know about the rest of the year, but I wouldn't argue with it. Like if they inactivate him for the rest, if they made him inactive for the rest of the year, especially if Mims steps up. If Mims steps up and executes and runs his routes perfectly, he's a great blocker. And nobody, we can't say it enough. Denzel Mims is an awesome blocker, which means by definition, when you're a wide receiver that's an awesome blocker, that usually translates to a very good teammate. So, hey, man, if he's just as good and we don't weaken as a team, maybe you keep this kid inactive. You know what? I'll forgive him. He just has to come forward. He has to publicly tweet. He has to call off his friend, his idiot in Philadelphia, realize that he's being influenced by an already admitted mentally ill human being that he supposedly helps. And now this mentally ill human being that he helps is doing so much harm to him and giving him the worst advice because that guy had a free agent year and was going for a big contract in negotiating, and that's fine. But you don't tell your little brother that you call him, who's in his second year of a rookie contract, to pull crap like this. Because let me tell you something, this is going to cost Elijah Moore a lot of money. It is. Because if you don't think every GM is saying, oh my God, that kid is opening his mouth and he's a second-year player who's 22 years old. Can you imagine what he's going to be like when he's 25? And I'm telling you, it's going to affect our willingness to re-sign him, even if he comes back and he does well. It's going to be on every GM's mind. It's going to be part of their processing. Now, they'll be an idiot like the Cleveland GM. Like there's always a Cleveland Browns moron in the world that doesn't know how to run an organization that will come along and pay him really well. But he's going to lose the option, right? He's not going to have lots of teams competing for him. I'm telling you, it's going to hurt him. And I am okay with letting Elijah Moore play again after this week. If he says the right things, they better have very strict conditions. Publicly on Twitter, he needs to say, I was wrong. I was wrong. I lost control of my emotions. I couldn't control them. And I'm going to get therapy or find somebody or find a way or some kind of technique. There are tons of them out there on how to control my emotions and not say things that harm my teammates and my team and hurt my fans. Because we were riding high, and Elijah Moore just took a knife and stabbed every one of us in the back because he's selfish. And he's going to need to acknowledge that, and he's going to need to change. Because this is not okay. You don't see second-year players doing this kind of thing. You see players in their contract year, they do it in negotiations. We saw Debo do it, request a trade. It's all part of the negotiation. It's in the offseason. You don't, when you're on an organization that went 4-13 last year, that sucked for 10, 12 years, sucked, hasn't won 3 games in a row since 2015, if we even did it then. You don't stand up and you don't say, I demand a trade. You just don't do it. Mims and Barrios. Yeah, look. Smith is doing his job. He's special teams. You have to understand. I know, like I'm not happy about it either. I don't think Jeff Mims should be active over Mims either. I'm not happy about it. But you have to understand that Jeff Smith is in those games. Like he only sees a few snaps. He's in there for special teams. I'm not saying I love it, man. I'd rather just keep working with Mims on special teams. But our special teams is really good, so that's a good argument. But hey, we knew this would happen. Somebody was going to get hurt. Something was going. We didn't know it was going to be this. We didn't know that Elijah Moore was going to decide to take right now, flush his. The stock value on players. He just flushed his value down by like 80%. Okay, we didn't know he was going to do that, but we knew somebody's going to get hurt. It always happens. Someone's going to pull a hamstring, a quad, whatever. So I think they were shocked that we made it through 6 games without that happening. They were probably saying, wow, we really thought that Mims would have gotten an opportunity by now. But he's getting his opportunity now. So now we're going to see. And there's no more excuses. Mims and Mims, believe me, especially against Denver, it doesn't have to be on the stat box. It might not be he has a lot of yards and receptions. Okay? The game plan might not call for that. But he better do what he's assigned to do. So if he does some key blocking for Breece Hall, if he does a couple of quick slants, as long as he does his job, that's what they're into, guys. Before skill, before talent, before all this and that, I'm telling you, they are about who does the job, who does exactly what they're supposed to do based on this system. Whether we like it or not, that's how they do it. That's who gets reps. That's who gets activated. It's carrying out the system. Garrett Wilson did not get on the field because he was a 10th overall pick. He got on the field because he earned it, because he runs the routes they want him to run. And it's just that simple. Yeah, look. I mean, I know we're saying we're acting like he's 12 years old. I will acknowledge and accept that this generation has changed. I mean, the last few generations, we are getting progressively where 22 is the new 12. I mean, if you go back to the 1950s, a 12-year-old was helping their dad in the workshop, and they didn't throw temper tantrums. I'm not saying all of them. I'm just making a point. We don't have to treat him like he's 12. But you're making fun of my egghead? Look, I'm going off so loud, and I'm going to start coughing again, just when I thought I was better. That's not a cold. That's just me screaming and yelling. My throat got dry. But no, we just have to understand that we're not treating him like he's 12, but he is 22. When I was 22, I was stupid. When I was 22, I made mistakes. We don't have to end his life over it. It's going to damage him. But at 22, when I made mistakes, I took accountability and I acknowledged them. So that's the path you choose in life. You either acknowledge your mistakes and you grow from them, or you don't. So now the ball's in Elijah Moore's court. It's going to be up to him. But he's going to have to take accountability. He just is. Yeah, when he gets booed by the fans, man, he's not going to like it, David. I understand that. I'm not defending his actions. I know you're not, too. I feel his agent was in his ear. Look at the other clients. So you give up this now. Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I think we're on the same page. I don't think his agent did this, though. I think that the fact that they sent them home, I think and I work with students, and I work with high school students, and believe me, this is a huge issue in our society. I don't know what's caused it or why it's so much more prevalent now, but the amount of people that are not able to control their emotions and regulate their emotions, it's getting crazy. I mean, it's like road rage. It's like everything else. It's just not having the ability to calm yourself down. I'm not always the best at it, but I'm certainly not going to go into my boss's office and start throwing a tantrum. I promise you that. Unless I'm ready to quit. I love these high predictions of Mims. I would love it to be true, dude. I would love it to be true. Complaining that if you don't like the offense, you look like a POS. Every team in the league doing it now. Yeah, to every team. Yeah, you do. I mean, you make yourself look bad. You hurt yourself. But I think that's the point. I think we all know that. But the point is everything should have been behind closed doors. He should have breathed a lot of breathing. They should all do meditation. Every single player should be part of their warm-ups, meditation, learning how to meditate. I'm serious. There's a chemical reason to this. This is not a made-up thing. When people say, oh, it's so stupid, how does breathing help you? No. There's a real explanation. Doctors, the people you go to that you take medicine if they tell you to, you take all those pills and you trust them. Anyone will tell you about this. And if you take a simple class about the human body and the brain, you'll understand that when you're hyperventilating, when you're not breathing, taking deep breaths, your brain doesn't get as much oxygen. Now, we know that the brain has different parts and different functions. When your brain doesn't have a lot of oxygen, it goes to the middle or the back or towards the back of your brain. That's the part of your brain. If you go too far back, it's fight or flight. Okay, so that's like the total no thinking, just panic. The middle of your brain is very emotional, and it lets your emotions drive the ship. Now, that could be very dangerous, right? When you're not feeling well. I don't want to give a whole lesson here, but the whole point of breathing is that you're getting the oxygen back into your brain, the blood flow back into your brain. So you could use the front of your brain. That's where your logic is. That's the part that controls you. That's why when you see a gymnast or any athlete gymnast, so that like you could really see it. Like in the Olympics, when they line up to run towards the balance beam, you'll notice, or a diver in swimming, you'll notice that they take deep breaths. The reason they're taking those deep breaths is because they want to use the front of the brain because they have a lot of techniques and things that they have to remember to do. So you need your brain, the better part of your brain, the processing part of your brain. Now, if I have two people chasing me with a gun and shooting at me, and then you hand me a gun and say, shoot back, Jeremy, maybe I want to be in the back of my brain because maybe that's the better version of Jeremy in that situation. But when you're talking when you're talking to your bosses and unhappy about the offense, you want to meditate, or you want to take time to breathe and relax and go in there, not emotional, but using logic with logical arguments. This is why I think you should utilize me more in the offense. And you do it behind closed doors, and that's fine. Right? Because I don't care if a staff member complains about their role and is not happy. I don't get mad at them if they ask to speak to me and come into my office and we speak like adults. That's fine. But if they got on the loudspeaker of the school and said, I'm unhappy with this assistant principal, I don't like his policies, and I'm requesting a transfer to another school. Yeah, I'm going to have a problem with that. It's the same thing, guys. He's young, but not enough young. Yeah, look, it's not that the action is not excusable, but you could excuse the person. You could forgive the person. You can say, because we understand it, right? Because there's a reason for it. I don't know his life. I don't know what happened in his life. There are things that cause us to be people who act on our emotions and don't know how to regulate our emotions. I'm not making excuses and saying it's okay to do those things. I'm saying it's okay for that person to grow. So I have no problem if Elijah Moore wants to grow from this experience, but he's going to have to breathe, relax, and admit he was wrong. I have not seen a tweet that I know of, maybe I'm wrong, where he has done that yet. So far, he's taken no accountability. If he continues to take no accountability, I would not activate him. As much as I want this to be a winning year, as much as I was hoping we might make the playoffs, and not having him could impact that, We're not a win now team in the overall scheme, right? In the overall plan. This year was about growth. And I think moving forward for the entire roster, for the entire team, for the culture of the team, it has to be understood that nobody is above the team. So if he's not going to apologize, if he's not going to apologize to his teammates, apologize to his coaches, admit he was wrong, convince them that he's there for the team again, and that he's going to play as hard as he can and do everything he can to help the team win, and be convincing and be sincere, he should not be active. He shouldn't. I wouldn't. If a teacher was threatening to leave and say, I'm not happy here, I would not want them with my students. I would not let them in that classroom. I don't want somebody who's doesn't want to be there, admittedly doesn't want to be there. Would you, as a parent, any of you that have kids, would you send your kids to a school, into a classroom where the teacher doesn't want to be there? Because they want more for themselves or something? Of course you wouldn't. It's the same thing. We can't have a guy on the team that doesn't care about the team. So he's going to have to prove that he does care about the team. He's going to have to say, I was emotional. I wasn't thinking right. I lost control of my emotions. And now that I've thought about it, I know that I'm wrong. That's what he has to do. Yeah, the tweets were I was okay with the first tweet, the response to Rich Cimini. I didn't love it, but I was like, okay, he's upset. He tweeted, I tweet. You know what I mean? I was fine with that. The temper tantrum at practice that we didn't see was unacceptable. And they sent him home. That's how bad it was, that they actually had to send him home. They didn't want him in the facility because it was going to affect the other players. And then for him to respond to that, to say, we're going to let you go to your family and calm down. And his response was to have his agent put out a tweet that he was demanding a trade. Inexcusable. Inexcusable. The action, not the person, the action. The person can come back. The person can rebound. The person can come back from this. But it's going to take a lot. You know what I mean? It's going to take a lot. A lot of bad voices. Yeah, Brandon Marshall. Yeah, well, Brandon Marshall was a low character player, if you don't remember. He left Denver on bad terms. He also, notice how Brown, Marshall, these are both players known to have mental illness. Admittedly, they admittedly had mental issues and needed help. I don't know if you guys know that about Brandon Marshall. He had personal issues. That personal issues means he had mental issues, mental health issues. And it's okay. I have mental health issues. I do. A lot of us do. A lot of us have anxiety. We have things. That's mental illness. It's not an insult. I'm not saying he's a psychopath that belongs in a straitjacket. Mental illness is a big part of our society. It's fine. It's not an insult. It's not like to put them down. But you got to question when the two people that are on your side and giving you this advice or publicly defending you that you're talking to are known to have mental illness, that might tell you that maybe you should find some people that don't. Like, are you talking to a therapist? Are you talking to anyone that's just level-headed? How about Jerry Rice? Can you get in touch with Jerry Rice? How about Barack Obama? It might be harder to get a hold of. And I'm not being political, guys. If you hate Barack Obama's guts, I'm sorry. I'm just talking about even keel people. I'm not trying to say he's not politics. I'm just trying to find examples of people who are calm, right? Who don't go all crazy and emotional, right? So that could be Republican politicians too. I'm not getting political. I'm just making a point that, Pataki, right? Pataki was Republican. He's a calm dude. He's a guy you could talk to. I just want to be fair. I want to be balanced because we're not supposed to get political. So I don't want to make you think I'm leaning to either side because that's not what this channel is about. So have I taken enough time to explain that? But so bad example. Who's a good guy? Who's a good person, guys? I don't know. Derek Jeter, right? Talk to a guy like Derek Jeter. Here's a guy who built, even Met fans. You're an idiot. If you're a Met fan and you hate Derek Jeter or have something against him, you're an idiot, right? Because I'm a Met fan. But give me a break. Derek Jeter was, numero uno person, right? Great human being, great leader. No one could argue that, right? Otherwise, you're being ridiculous about sports. If you're a Met fan, I don't know, Mike Piazza, right? But what I'm saying is, Jerry Rice is a great example. He was a wide receiver. He was an amazing human being, great character. Wayne Corbett, very accessible, right? I mean, he's a former Jet. He's involved with the team. It'd be very easy for Elijah Moore to say, I'm going to talk to Wayne Corbett. I'm going to talk to a guy who spent his whole career in one team, never had controversy, never got in trouble, got his contract. He was an underdog and he earned a big contract and made his fame or whatever. And talk to him and say, am I in the right now? And see if any level-headed person is willing to tell you that you're in the right, that it's okay to do this to your team. Who is he going to find that's going to be okay with this? How do you not trust Robert Saleh? How do you not trust him? Do you trust your coach? If Robert Saleh is telling you, hey, man, we're doing what's best for the team. We want you all to get paid. We're going to take care of you. Think about what you're saying right now. We're not ignoring you. We're just trying to win games. If you can't trust him and you'd rather listen to this guy Brown from Philadelphia, this loudmouth, or Brandon Marshall, who went from team to team and underperformed and never lived up to his big mouth, then you're in trouble. But it's always the big mouths. It's always the big mouths that are and then they, for some reason, have the power to have the voice over him. It's like, hey, I'm a Jet fan. I do this for a living. I calm kids down of all ages. I started in high school, and now I work with 5, 6-year-olds. Come to me, Elijah Moore. Come to me for my advice. And I won't even get emotional. I would calm down, and I'll talk to you the way I talk to my students, and I'll make you see reason. And make you understand, what is a team? How does a team succeed? What's your number one responsibility? Is your number one? It's okay to care about your own self and stats. I'm not saying that. But that is not the priority. The priority is to help the team win. The belief is that if you do everything to help your team win, the money will come. Right? I mean, that's the advice I give kids in life. I say, with any job, any career, anything you do in your life, follow your passion, do it with love, do it with fidelity, do it the best you can, and don't worry about the compensation. The money will come. And that's just that. So, I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, we got a super chat. Great speech. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. I like that you feel that way. Sometimes I just had to come talk this out, Yeah, look. We're missing our WR2, but we got back our WR1, who's now active for the first time. Jets forever. That sounds like something he'd say. Look, I will agree to this point. And by the way, again, Daniel, thanks. I really do appreciate the super chat. Let's think of it this way. We might not be as hurt as a team this week not having him active, because I think he was going to be a decoy anyway. And it's not like Denzel Mims, if he's running a lot of Elijah's routes, that were going to be deep routes, because I think it's going to be similar to last week. They're not going to just say, well, it's Denzel Mims, we don't have to cover him. They're not going to let a 6'3", 6'4" tall guy with, super fast just run deep routes and not cover him. So he's still going to be able to do the job for the team. He's a great blocker, so we don't lose anything there. So if the game plan, I think the game plan was not going to heavily involve Elijah Moore. That's why he threw the fit. He didn't throw the fit because of the Green Bay game. He didn't say, as he was practicing, by the way, you didn't throw me the ball last week. That's not what happened. He didn't like what the game plan was coming up ahead. He goes, I got no catches last week, and now you're telling me I got to be a decoy again? That's what this was about. So I don't know that it will matter this week, but this guy's going to have to come back, and he's going to have to apologize, because against New England, we do want Elijah Moore, because that's going to be a different game plan. You know what I mean? It's not going to be every week that we're just going to try to run the ball only and do different, tight end. This, New England's going to be a wide receiver game. We're going to want to throw to our wide receivers. But Mims, we'll see, man. I never gave up on Mims. I'm cautious with Mims. Never gave up on him. I would love it if Mims had a breakout game. That makes us a powerhouse, because then it's like, even if Elijah doesn't come back, we survive. We get over that. If he does come back, if he takes accountability, and then we've now discovered that Mims has proven in real games he's too good to make inactive, then we're out of control as a team, right? So it can end up being a good thing, but nothing is going to make that behavior okay. Like, we're not going to take action, because we have to show the rest of the staff of the roster that you can't do what he did. It can't be that if you feel like it, you get to just start screaming and throwing a tantrum, and then you could tell your agent to go public and distract the team and ask for a trade. No, like you there's got to be the line's got to be drawn in the sand. You're not allowed to do that. So yeah, well, he definitely did, David. I don't even know if I'm gonna ever wear his jersey again. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm the guy that goes, "That's my boy." I'm not gonna play that promo anymore. I have to create a new game show promo. I was supposed to do it in the offseason. I messed up the fact that I don't even have one. So now I'm going to have to blow like 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday, probably tomorrow, creating a new promo with me and my brother, like to do watch party promos and stuff, and high energy promos. And I'm going to have to take that out. And, me and Richie, Jets Media, we're probably like the biggest Elijah Moore fans that I know. And like when I was at the opener, I looked over to Richie. He was sitting like 4 people away. And I said, when he caught that pass against Baltimore in like the first drive or the second drive, I was like, "That's our boy." And he looked over at me and he's laughing, and he's got his 8 jersey on. I mean, it sucks. I'm so mad and hurt by what he did. I can't even tell you. Like, I waited till this long to even be able to come here and talk about it. What's up, New York Sports Wicker Media? What's going? Still livid. I'm not as livid as I was. I mean, if you look at some of my tweets, I was livid. I mean, tonight I am even saying we could forgive him, and maybe there's hope. Maybe there's a path for this kid to recover. But his action, I will never forgive. The action, that thing I will never will never defend that. He's never going to be able to make that action seem digestible. It is absolutely the opposite of what Robert Saleh is building. It is the biggest threat, the biggest cancer, aside from injuries to this team, is players doing what he just did. It is absolutely could tear a team apart. That's a great question, GVH. I think there's a bunch of vets that could talk to him. And I think Sauce Gardner put out a tweet that was just a quote from the Bible, I think. But it was so obviously directed at him. But so it couldn't be an attack because, Elijah Moore's religious. So you can't sit there and he can't get mad at Sauce Gardner and said, "Oh, you attacked me," because all he did was put something from the Bible. But it was very clear about the importance of being selfless. And I think CJ Mosley obviously pops out as an obvious veteran. I don't think Corey Davis would be effective, maybe, because I can't imagine that Corey Davis didn't talk to him. So CJ Mosley, maybe you put him in a room with Michael Clemens, and Michael Clemens just looks at him and says, I'm about to hold you accountable for what you just did. You just stick him in a room with Michael Clemens. But seriously, I think he's going to have to be in a meeting with the entire team. I think like team meeting, intervention type style, like of, you're not going to be part of this team if we don't work this out. Like, there's going to be a restorative. Okay. He has to restore his reputation on this team and restore who he is on this team. And because there's no way you could play next to this guy after what he just did. Because I'm telling you, the majority of our team, I don't know how many guys agree with him on the team. I don't know how many would ever condone this, but it's not a lot. I know CJ Mosley doesn't condone this. I can't imagine that AVT condones this after switching positions and jumping around, popping around for the team. And then he sees this guy crying over this. Like, how is he going to condone that? So he could pick whoever he wants to talk to. I don't know how you don't trust a guy like CJ Mosley. LaMarcus Joyner's been around for a long time. It's not always about like being a star. or the best player on the team. It's about somebody you trust, somebody who has experience, life experience. LaMarcus Joyner's a little older. Honestly, though, he's got, like there's coaches too, right? I mean, Robert Saleh. I mean, if I played for Robert Saleh, man, he'd be the guy I trusted and talked to. I mean, that guy just has nothing but the best intentions ever. You know what I mean? It's just like he really is. That's the one thing about Robert Saleh. He clearly has great intentions. I don't know how you wouldn't, how you wouldn't trust him and want to, and just let him, like, just go into a room and say, I messed up. What do I do? Just do what Saleh tells you to do, because we all know it. If you listen to anyone, McDaniel, the Miami coach, anyone that talks about Robert Saleh, they will tell you that he is brilliant and he knows how to, carry himself and represent himself. So if you're a player that's lucky enough to have a coach like that, man, you should feed off of that. But he has other guys, man. See, but CJ Mosley is the player that sticks out, just to answer the question again. He definitely needs to be talking to CJ Mosley. I mean, that's the guy we should all want him to be talking to. Ozuma wouldn't be bad. I mean, we got some veterans on the team, but CJ, Mosley is the one that got up there and told the entire NFL and all the free agents, don't come here looking for a payday and thinking that's what it's about. Come here looking to play and win games and turn it and help turn the team around. I mean, he's the one that goes out and says all the right things. What's up, Charles Florio? Good. What's going on, Morris? And Morris, long-term problem. It doesn't go away easy. It does not go away easy. This is going to take time to fix. He did really. This is a big deal. Not being in the game. These guys are like, I don't want to. Tom Brady got in trouble for comparing it to the Army or war, but I mean, anybody who played a team sport, especially football, the camaraderie. I mean, these guys they risk serious injuries. They go through ups and downs together. I mean, they play hurt. They're in pain. The emotion, the meaning of each game. They go to battle together. For him to he's perfectly healthy and he's not there. Like, he's not playing by his choice, by his actions. There's no way that's easy for them. There's no way they just shrug that off. They won 3 games in a row. They're going against a crazy hard defense like Denver, and they're one of the guy who for a year and a half has sworn he's their brother. 4 games last year. After 4 games, he said, I care about this team. I care about my brothers around me. I don't care if I have 0 receptions. That came out of his mouth. Go back and look up the press conference. Go Jets press conference on YouTube when you're done watching this. Jets press conference on YouTube. Elijah Moore. Go back to last year after week 4. So what month would that be? That would be like September 20th or whatever it is. Find it. He says that he doesn't care if he has 0 receptions. He just wants to help the team win. So what happened? Where's that guy? That's why I bought the jersey. We draft lots of talented guys. I bought the jersey because of the person. I don't wear the jersey of a player just because they're good. I wear the jersey of a player I respect as a person. I looked at this young man as somebody that I wanted my students to be like. I said, this is an example for my students. This is a great young man. This is a man I would have been proud if I taught. And I believed that and thought that based on what he would say. And I don't know what happened to Elijah Moore, but that's not the person that is driving his bus this week. Well, this is what I was talking about with the brain. Something came over him in his life, and he is not working on. That's not the same person. That's not the front of his brain, the logical, the thinking part of his brain talking. That's some emotion or pain that's in him that is coming out. He is not dealing with some kind of pain. I don't know if it's because he wants to be more productive. if it's just hard for him to not be part of it, not get receptions, and for some reason they can't convince him and make him understand that being a decoy, that blocking and doing the things he did is contributing. It doesn't need to be in catches. I don't know if Brown got into his ear and made him think you're not going to get paid. I don't know. But that wasn't the same person this week. It's not the same human being as he was last year, unless he was lying last year, which is hard to believe. The relationship is tainted. I don't see how he can come back from this. If I was his teammate, I would have no words for him. Yeah. He's a freaking baby that needs to grow up somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Lamar, I'm hurt as a fan. I bought his jersey. I loved him. It was heartbreaking. What he did was hurtful. I mean, I was on the biggest high. We were on the biggest high. We were on such a high. We finally have a team. We're finally winning. We finally feel like we've made it through this storm. We stuck with this team. And then this player that we trusted, that we believed in, that we liked, just totally took out a knife and he stabbed every one of us in the back. As Salah said, when you're writing the story of your life, not the story of your life, don't let another man hold the pen. Well, he just let another man hold the pen. That's a great point, Randy. He's just not listening. There are some people say, I like my coach is smart, but they really don't know how smart they are because they're not listening. And it's very wise words. We do write our own stories. It's true. We write our stories. Moore got in a heated argument with MLF and was asked to go home. MLF, Mike LaFleur. Well, yeah, he's going to go to his offensive coordinator. Yep, it's a big mistake. I agree. Thank you, Jim Buck. I'm glad you agree. I agree with you agreeing. Iowan, how many Elijah Moores does it take to change a light bulb? One, but it takes a long time and he has to want to change. I think it's too early. Yeah, he's 22. He can rewrite his own story. I mean, I would never tell, if I was giving advice, because I have tons of former students that I'm friends with on Facebook, that they have my personal cell phone number from New York when I taught high school. They're in their mid-20s now. I have plenty of students that are up to from what I said, about 28. I have students that have kids now. I would never tell them you screwed up. It's like, you made everybody mad. You screwed up. You got fired or something. I would never tell one of my former students who's now 23. He's on the phone with me. I messed up. He still calls me Mr. Cravat. Mr. Cravat, I messed up. I don't look at him and say, yeah, you messed up. Now your life sucks. That's it. Your life sucks. Get a job at McDonald's if you can. Don't call me anymore. You messed up. It's not what I tell them. I tell them that you now have to find your path back. What's your path back? Who did you hurt? Start with apologizing. But first, you got to learn why you're apologizing. Reflect. Understand what you did wrong. Understand why you're wrong. And then apologize. And then be patient and go step by step. What do you have to do? What he has to do is he has to apologize. He has to be remorseful. He has to come back and he has to work his tail off and get back to what he does best and play football and help the team win. And winning cures everything. Make some big plays, start winning some games, make a game-winning touchdown, have a game where you break out for 120 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And when you get in front of that press conference, you be humble. Be humble and say, I'm glad this journey was hard. I made some mistakes and now I'm here. And I'm happy to be here helping my team win. And that's how you handle it. And let me tell you something. He can win it back. But he's got to do it. He's got to do it. So far, he hasn't, guys. I haven't seen the tweet of you. He knows how to use Twitter. I have not seen it. Has anyone seen an apology? Has he taken it back yet? That's the most disturbing part of this whole thing, is that he hasn't yet. They sent him home. He had a day to be with his family, and he still hasn't gotten calmed down enough to have the capacity to know and see how wrong he is. Because it's not like he's a little wrong. It's not complicated. It's not. He's completely wrong. Completely. I'm telling you that as a leader of a school and as someone who had to be a great team player to get to where I am in my school. And it's no different than sports. It's no different in any company. He is in a team that values culture and values the collective. I purposely put myself in a company in a school that does that. I left New York and I came and I was very picky about where I worked because that's the environment I wanted to be in. Now, he got drafted into that environment, but he certainly acted like he wanted to be part of that environment. He has to accept his mistake. Do you think I'll change your my boy? Well, I love Mims. You guys know that. I've always been like arguing and hopeful for Mims. I was one of the big free Mims last year, guys. Right, so I'm a big Mims guy. That just came out of me, so I don't know what it'll be. If something different comes out, I might. I don't know what's going to come out of me. If anything, you know that when I'm doing those live shows with Green Bean, it's like it's as genuine as it can be. So, and I honestly, because like he'll say to me, "How did you come up with doing that? Like, was that all planned?" I said, "No, I just acted. I reacted. I was like, that's my boy," and then it became this big thing. So, I don't know. It might be the same thing, and it might not. But we'll find out if Mims gets a touchdown. You'll all see what I do and how I react. Yeah, look, Mims might be like the Lou Gehrig kind of thing. You know, he might come in and never give up the spot. So that's something. Mims does something good. I saw a super chat, I thought, and we have a thing that we do here. If we have a super chat, you skip the line. Let me see. I make sure I didn't pass one. Okay, no, I didn't. I don't think I did. Okay, if I did, somebody let me know. The Jet Show. I want EA to be traded now. Bad energy. Good team. Yeah, man. Look. The hard part about trading him is, first of all, you're giving him exactly what he wants, right? So it's hard to do that, to give somebody exactly what they want, like you're like rewarding him. And we're not going to get the value for him right now because they'll know why we're trading him. Now, we might be saying we're not trading him. Joe Douglas said we're not trading him. And someone like the New York Giants, who really need a receiver, might come along and offer something really good, and we might do it. But we're not going to pick up the phone and chop, because then we're going to get fleeced. Right now, our best action is to hope that at some point in the very near future, he comes out and totally takes accountability, and totally just says, I'm wrong, and apologizes and on his knees. Like that's what we have to hope happens. Again, I'm concerned that it hasn't happened yet. The fact that he hasn't come back and really apologized publicly and is not trying to make this right. And we don't know that he's not. He could have today, and they just didn't make it public. They might say, let's keep this in-house. So we don't know that for sure, but he certainly hasn't come publicly and done anything to fix this. But thank you for the super chat, my friend. It was great having you on a couple of weeks ago. We're looking forward to having you on the show again. What's this? Jeremy, you leaned pretty hard the other night. Man, that hot sauce hurt, man. It's like there's two ways to hurt yourself with hot sauce. One could be just the hot sauce, the sauce that you eat, that you choose, or the volume. I hurt myself with the volume of hot sauce that night. I loved more. Not your fault. He's dead to me now. Yeah, man. It hurts, right? He's dead to me now. He could come back to life, though, Jake. If he apologizes and takes full accountability and then goes off and helps us win, you'll be surprised how fast you'll forgive somebody. I don't think it's hopeless. I agree with our friend from before. He's 22. So I believe in people, that people can change and people can, take accountability and make mistakes and then be okay again. I'm not going to permanently define him, but it's going to take a long time for me to trust him. And I have my questions about him. And I think JD should too. Like, even if he does recover from this, again, when his contract comes up in 2.5 years, this will be something you have to think about. Whatever caused this, we are never going to be sure it's not going to happen again. We always have to be wary of him now, because this happens and it's real. It's like, it's not a little locker room spat. He's missing a game. We're having to deactivate our WR2. It's a very big deal. I don't want anybody to think, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. When it gets to a point where you're not going to play, that is a very, very big deal. Love you, Jake. Thanks for the super chat. Let's go down. Sorry, I'm skipping a lot of chats, but I don't want to. My wife might make me leave at any moment, and if I don't cover every super chat, I'm going to feel bad. Randy Lucas, no comment. All right. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. It definitely helps. I'm not going to lie. I got, I can't show it to you, but I'm like looking at a 42-inch TV. Because Green Bean said, yo, man, I can't have you just sitting on the couch, man. It's got to look professional. I'm in the studio. You got to get something in your studio, man. So I did it, man. I got a cable box installed. DirecTV came this morning. I got a big TV that's on my desk because I have no other place to put it. So it's like right in front of my face. But it helps. You guys give me super chats and everything. It helps me with my wife, because she's like, we're trying to save money for something. And but now I get to say to her, look, we're getting a little check every month from these super chats. And my members, the members of the channel, so that's balancing it out. And she's like, okay. And I said, one day it might be profitable. We might make more than we spend, and then you'll be happy. And that's why I'm allowed to be up here right now doing this. I always feel guilty about it, though, because I love this so much and I enjoy this so much that I almost feel like guilty if it becomes profitable where I'm making money. I'm going to feel bad and guilty that I'm like taking your money. But I really appreciate it. Right now, it's definitely going to good use. It's going to this show and me being able to provide this content. So as long as I can say that, I won't feel bad. I'll just be appreciative. Thank you, Randy. Just Mess is in the house. What's going on? Snacks? Yeah. My stupid 3-month snacker chat never showed up on the feed. What kind of crap is that? Well, Knob, what do you want to say, buddy? You're a friend, man. I'm eating your hot sauce every day. That mustard stuff goes on every sandwich, my friend. So I'll look for what you have to say. Put your chat in, man. Put your chat in. Jennifer, what's going on? If Mims goes against the Bronco corner with 4 pass interference calls last game, I would definitely target him. Yeah, look. I didn't realize that there was the corner, that the backup corner had 4 pass interference calls. That means we should definitely go after him. You could bet that. Well, look, the good thing is Patrick Surtain can only has to pick one guy, right? He can't cover Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis. So Mims is not going to have to worry about that. And if he does, fine, we'll throw to Garrett Wilson, or, I mean. It doesn't mean we can't get some short passes against Surtain. It just means we're not going to really be able to, we're not going to have a big game against them, Nope. Great player. Sample size of months of being a good teammate and less than a week of proof he isn't on a rookie contract with above average talent. Yeah. I don't really know what you're saying there, but because I don't know the question you're asking. I can only tell you that I do think he's a great player, which is why I hope they make amends. But no matter how good a player is, if they're a cancer on the team, you can't have it. You can't have it. But man, I like Mims a lot. Rico, I don't know your point. He did this to himself. He did this to himself. I don't know if you've ever been on a team. Like, you've ever been part of a team? Like, the fans are the ones that make you the money. All the money he makes, the $5 million or whatever that he's going to make over 4 years, or $6 million, whatever his contract is our money. It comes from us because we're fans. His teammates choose to come and play for the Jets, the ones that come as free agents, because they want to win. He said in an interview, they interviewed draft picks. They would not have chosen him in the draft if he said, I'm going to make my money. I care about my statistics. Do you understand? That means he lied in the interview. He told them he said it to us after 4 games. I am not about my receptions or my numbers. I'm here to help the team. Team. Of course, people are saying you're dead to me now. He's screwing us over. He's messing with us now. He's hurting us. We're mad. We're angry. If he comes back and he makes good, we'll be okay and he'll come back to life. But of course, we're pissed at him. He's hurting our team, the team that we love. How could you be a Jets fan? How could you be a Jets fan and not be hurt and mad at him? He's not going to be in the game on Sunday. For what? For what reason? Because he didn't like the game plan of the coach? This is the world now? This is the way it should be, that players should just coach themselves? We don't need coaches, right? Let's watch guys play street ball and just get into a huddle and on their hand draw out plays. Give me a break, man. You know how much people are spending to go to games? You know how much we invest? You know how much it cost me to fly into the opener? You know how much money we all spent? The least they could do is live up to their words of caring and being professionals. They're professionals. Would you want a police officer not help you and say, sorry, I'm pissed off at my bosses right now? They're professionals. It's his job to do what he's told and honor his contract. If he's not happy here, he could talk to them behind closed doors. They have team meetings. He could have a coach's meeting. You don't go to the press. You don't go to the media. You don't do it to your team. You don't do that. Why are people having that take that it's okay to do that? What world do you live in? What job do you have? Who do you work for that allows that? Who taught you that that's okay to behave like that? If you're not happy with your boss, you will ask for a meeting and talk to your boss. You don't scream like a baby in front of everybody. Give me a break. You don't know what it's like to be an adult, a professional? Boy, that gets me pissed. How do you defend that kind of action? This affects people's lives. This is real for us. And he's doing this for him, for nobody else but himself. He's making more money than you will ever make in your life on this rookie contract. You will never even come close to making the money he's making. So there's no excuse. It's a game. I played football as a kid for years and baseball because I loved it. And they have the honor, the privilege of becoming millionaires, doing what we love, doing what they love. You think if the money wasn't like this and it wasn't as popular and every player just made $150,000, that 99% of those players would still be on that field playing if they didn't know about the money, if it never happened like that? Are you out of your mind? If I had the ability and the talent to play wide receiver in the NFL and you offered me $150,000, you think I'd say no? I'd rather work in this elementary school. I could do that later when I'm 35 and I retire. Give me a break. There's no excuse. Jesus. What is Moore's end game here? All players wanting out and trying to get paid. Moore has absolutely no leverage. He cares about his numbers now for future money. And it's stupid, Sneakers, because he's hurting his future money. Your attitude and your work ethic and helping a team win and being part of a winning team is much more valuable. And let's remember the sponsors, Nike, McDonald's, Coke, Gatorade, whatever, Pepsi. That's more money than you make as a player. Michael Jordan made more money through sponsors than he ever did in player salary. So that's the stupidity of it. You're playing on a New York team. You're saying, why should we care about what they want when they're good? Like, why we're judging them? Like, this is so stupid. Why should they care about our opinions? Because we're the ones that buy their freaking jerseys. We're the ones that buy the Gatorade when they do the commercial because they're drinking Gatorade. That's why. Because without us, he's nobody. Without us, he's a guy with a regular job like the rest of us, living paycheck to paycheck. That's why. We're his paycheck. We pay him. You can't understand that? It's not doing what we want. It's being a professional. It's doing what your responsibility is. It's his responsibility to play the game, to run the plays they ask him to play. Then when you're a free agent, go. If you're not happy, go. You signed a 4-year contract, Rico. Do you know what a contract is? You're sitting here and telling me that you don't understand why he should care? Every dollar they get paid is from our pockets. Don't ever forget that. For your wife and the help with the money you wasted on the Moore jersey. Jake, you're the best, man. Thanks. Amazing how I can go from emotion to emotion, right? I'm not even being a fake, but I am able to do that. I have that ability. But I want to make sure my point is clear. I'm so tired of these arguments defending the players. I mean, you really got to be crazy to defend him right now. What you're saying is that there's no honor in anything. There's no loyalty to your team. There's no loyalty to your fans. There's no loyalty to your contract. You're saying that you want to live in a world where there's no loyalty. There's no honor. There's no code. Well, you live in that world. The rest of us are going to hold him accountable. And if you think he doesn't care, you're wrong. He cares. Believe me, he cares. You can pretend all you want. You don't care what thousands and thousands of people think, but he cares. I do a video that gets 2,000 views, 200 likes, two thumbs down, and that bothers me. 2 people putting the thumbs down bothers me. So don't tell me he doesn't care. He cares. It's human nature to care. Thanks, Jake. I appreciate the super chat. You're the man. Now Michael Lando comes in. Put it towards your TV. Thanks, man. Make the wife happy. I'm actually going to have to go down now because she's calling me on the phone because I was supposed to just do this while she's working out. So it is date night. I'm supposed to have a cocktail with her and watch a movie and all that good stuff. So let me just search for any more super chats. Wow. Am I allowed to tell her, honey, I got 60 people in here. Do I have to shut down and leave? Let me see. Let me see what she's texting me. Okay. Oh, she's wait a second. It's gonna shower in 10. Okay. Oh, that means I'm okay. Great. I thought she was calling me to like yell at me. So okay. We got a little bit more time, guys. So that's good. But Michael Lando, you are such a good friend, man. I appreciate you. I can't believe how many friends I made on this channel. I love you guys. John Nolte's here, my buddy. I love it. You guys are just so awesome. So awesome. The best part about this is more than anything else in the world, I get to do what I love and be 100% myself. That's the best part about this. Like, you guys know me, and anybody who's met me in person will tell you there's no act here. Like, if you meet me in person, this is who I am. This is exactly who I am. And I love it. I love that I get to be exactly me and that I have people supporting me. That's like the most flattering thing in the world. If I was doing an act, it wouldn't be as flattering because I'd be, oh, they like the person I'm pretending to be. But this is exactly who I am. And I love that I get to be myself. And that's why I consider you guys like I can hang out with any of you. If I go, I want to meet you. I want to hang out with you because you know who I am and you're here. So like that's the best compliment in the world. So I appreciate that. Pooch guy. He has to feel the heats from the vets. Yeah, look, there's a code. There's a code in the NFL, and he's going to have to go through. I was worried the players were going to side with him because then like Boy Green went out and said someone else is going to come out and do the same thing and demand a trade. And I said, oh my God, this is going to be the end of our locker room. Like it's all going to fall apart. And then I realized and I thought about it and I said, there's no way they're okay with this. Like, this is just Elijah. There's no way CJ Mosley is saying, yeah, why aren't we using him more? Brees Hall's certainly not saying it. Brees Hall's not saying, yeah, stop giving me the ball, even though I'm kicking butt, dominating, and winning us games. Don't give me the ball. Elijah wants the ball more. Let me remind you, in case some of you weren't here before, I want to do a quick reminder and make sure everybody understands. Elijah Moore did get targeted once in Green Bay. Everyone keeps saying 0 targets. It's not true. He was targeted. It was one target. I watched it 5 plays, the replay. It wasn't open. Zach tried to force it. He was kind of throwing it away, but he was trying to throw it in a way that maybe Elijah can get to it. But he couldn't. And that was on Zach. But, he was under pressure and nobody was open. So, aside from this unfortunate game, not unfortunate, we won, but this unfortunate game for him and our wide receivers, we didn't get to see our wide receivers get utilized that much. And that was the game plan. It wasn't because something happened or went wrong. It was the game plan. It was 100% the game plan. We knew where Green Bay was weakest. We wore them down. It took a half of frustration, but we wore them down. And then in the second half, we were able to grind, and we wore them down, and we were able to get our way and impose our will. And guess what? When we needed Zach to make the big passes, he did, which is great. He made the passes he needed to make. We all saw it. Corey Davis made the good catch he needed to make, right? He made that great catch, great play. Conklin came through in a moment where we needed him to come through with a big catch. Everybody did their job. It might not be pretty, but we won the game, and we won the game following our game plan. And that's what matters. So, yes, he's going to feel the heat, Pooch. Thank you for the super chat. He's going to feel the heat. But, I'm getting to the point. So, outside of that Green Bay game, in his first 17 games, in Elijah Moore's official first season, okay, counting the games he missed for injury, he's played one full season worth of games. He's had 106 targets. That is one more than Cooper Kupp. That is more than Devontae Adams. That is more than Tyreek Hill. So Elijah Moore was not being ignored. He may have gotten a little less this season so far, but he has as many as everybody else. We just have a very balanced offense. Like, we have 3-4 receivers over 200 yards receiving. That's the dream. That's the dream. Because other teams don't know who to focus on, right? We don't have a WR1. We got to stop Tyreek Hill and we'll win. We got to stop Tyreek Hill and Waddle and we'll win. No, we have to stop Elijah Moore. We have to stop Garrett Wilson. We have to stop Corey Davis. We have to stop this dynamic running back that's potently dangerous as a receiver out of the backfield. We have to stop Conklin. We have to stop this crazy guy Berrios that comes in and does all these crazy plays. I mean, that's the beauty of our team. That's what a winning team looks like. I remember in the 80s, Al Michaels on Monday Night Football, whenever the Niners would play, he'd say it over and over again. Some of you that are old enough will remember. He'd say, so many weapons. So many weapons. And he just keeps saying it as they walked up and down the field scoring points. It's good to have a lot of weapons, but those weapons have to understand that they're surrounded by other weapons and not be selfish. And guess what? There's tons and tons of tape. Tons of tape. You don't need the catches and the yards and the touchdowns to have a big payday. You just need to stay focused and help your team win and be a great player. Just do the best you can, run your routes. There's tons of film. The GMs of the other teams are going to watch the film. We just saw Jacksonville pay a guy tons and tons of money because they liked what he did on film. He didn't have the production in Arizona, but they paid him a contract that can get him up to $20 million a year. Amari Cooper had 750 yards receiving last year for Dallas. And he got $20 million a year from Cleveland because they looked at the tape and they saw that he knew how to run routes. And they saw that if you use him a certain way, he's going to help your team. So Elijah's wrong about that too. He doesn't even understand how it works. You play for New York. You have the chance to be one of the stars on a New York team that was in the basement and be one of the stars that might have a chance to bring them to the glory land, to win a Super Bowl, to be part of a team in New York to win a Super Bowl after 50 years of not winning one. Do you know how much money you will make from that if that happens? Like, if you want to roll the dice and put your best foot forward and how can I make a lot of money? Be part of a New York City football, like be a New York Super Bowl winner. Legend. You're a legend forever if you do that. A complete legend. So this flag, Nick, is from Phil Adams, which is one of our viewers here. He's a big fan of green bean. Oh, by the way, Iowan, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. That's all Iowan gets. The Doghouse Fund. I don't even get that. Oh, this is the Doghouse? Cool. Okay. I love you, Iowan. Thanks. But Nick, this flag was actually constructed by Phil Adams, who's just a longtime green bean fan, who I met by working with green bean. And he sent me the banner that you can't see. That's like way over here. There's a banner over here from London, from Tottenville, from the Atlanta Jets game. And then a few months ago, he sent me this. He had 5 of these banners made. There's only 5 of them. He was actually on the Jets show, Jets One Drive, the day of the London game. They showed him in the crowd holding this flag. And it says on the middle, Stoke-on-Trent. That's where he lives. And that's for the team, the soccer team that represents his town, that he loves. So he's a Stoke City fan. And so it's a combination flag that says Stoke, like for where he's from, British flag. And I don't know if you noticed this, but it's every Jets logo. So it's like all the different logos. If you look in the top right corner, it's the 1980s logo. I don't know if that one shows, unfortunately. Well, let me see if I could point it. There we go. If you look on top, that's the 1980s one. That's my favorite one, as evidenced by this, right? When I got my tattoo, I did the 1980s logo, the Ken O'Brien 1980s Jets logo. I don't know if you can see it. Let me look on my screen. There you go. So that's my favorite one. So I love the fact that it's up there on the flag. But thanks for noticing it. Shout out to Phil Adams for sending it. It's like it's a prized possession. It really is. A Few Good Men. What's the code? It's code red. Right? Source's tweet made me regain hope in the locker room. Sauce's tweet made me regain hope in the locker room. Oh, you mean when he the Bible passage that he did, right? Yeah, that made me feel that the players are the rest of our team. That was a sign their head's in the right place. I agree. I felt good when I read that too. And I like the way he did it. He did it in such a mature adult way. Like he didn't say, you're being a bitch or you're being a baby. He said, no, you like to quote the Bible? You should read this. That was perfect. Like Sauce is a smart kid because that was a very smart move, that post he made. Very smart. He's very bright. I think everyone else is rational. We're a top team in the NFL for the first time forever. Why would you want to leave? I know. Well, the only explanation is selfishness. Just you don't care about winning. You care about money. That's the only explanation I can even think about. So my brother just sent me something. I don't know what it is. I'll check it out later. Code red, man. Code red. You're damn right I did. Did you order the code red? You're damn right I did. I eat breakfast 300 feet from the enemy. People who are trained to kill me if they get the opportunity. Guns are pointed to my head when I eat breakfast. Put him in front of the team captains. Yeah, I mean, that's another guy. Somebody was asking who he should talk to. Justin Hardy is a good guy to talk to. There's a veteran, a leader. What is the second last thing the Forrest Gump says to the lady on the bench? I'm not going to talk about that. Was it that? I forget. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Gump, that's a long movie. I can't remember all the lines from that one. I just remember when he said, Bubba. And What did they say when the lawyers interviewed them? What do you guys do? I can't follow you guys. Just look at AVT. You don't think he wants to settle in at one position and establish himself for his career? And Dwayne Brown playing through injury. Really infuriating having this happen. Absolutely, Steven. And, and that's, I get so mad when people defend it. Like, I can't believe people defend it. And I just want to know about their life, people who defend it. Like, is it you never had success for a company in career? And, are they people who blame other things and don't even know? No, it's your attitude. It's the fact that you think Elijah Moore doing this is okay. Like, if you're a person who thinks that, then that probably explains why you are where you are in your life. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking about people who are doing that, because these are people who don't understand the concept of companies, real companies, successful companies. The last thing you want to do when I hire someone, even if it's the lowest position in my school, like, right, when I say lowest, I mean lowest paying. Still looking for people who are not just coming in for a paycheck, right? I mean, if you ran your business, do you want to hire someone that just wants their paycheck and they only want to do things that benefit them the most? Or do you want somebody that's going to believe in your vision as a company and want to be part of a team and something special and grow? And then let themselves be rewarded by that, because then when you grow, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get more money, or they're going to get a better position. Like, it's just so hard to understand how people don't understand that. How you could be a fan of a team and have a player do that to you as a fan and then defend the player. Look, and to whoever's defending him, you have to understand, there was no bigger fan of Elijah Moore than me. I mean, you could be equal to me as a fan, but I was about as high as it could be. And I was disappointed whenever I wanted him to have a breakout year. I want him to be so good. As much as I love Garrett Wilson and I love how good he is, I didn't want him to overtake Elijah Moore. I want Elijah Moore to be the star. I wanted it so bad. Like, and he totally just put a knife in our back. Let's see. Moore has 15 catches on 28 attempts for the year. Those numbers alone says be quiet and keep a low profile. This young man got some really bad advice from not so smart people. Kind of sad. Yeah, it's amazing who people will take advice from. It's amazing. Another football player, because he's your friend. So you put him on this pedestal of being smart, when there's people like Coach Saleh, when there's people like LaFleur, when there's people like Tony Ogden on the defense, you go to him. CJ Mosley, who's proven to be not just a football player, but a very bright person. Like, there's people. Joe Flacco has been around forever. There's so many people you can go talk to. But the thing is he has a coach that you could talk to. Robert Saleh, man, just by hearing him talk at press conferences, would you ever hesitate, be afraid to knock on his door and say, "Can we talk?" Like, it just makes no sense. How could you think that these other people know more and would give you better advice than Robert Saleh? Like, you're gifted that by having this coach. This is not Adam Gase. This is a guy you could talk to. A person with lots of kids and a family who accomplished his dreams, who climbed a ladder and built it. I kill to talk to people like that. I kill in my field in education. I go crazy for the opportunities to talk to people who've done that. Principals who've started schools. Superintendents who've worked their way up, who are great and build great districts. I ask them questions. I don't rebel against them and start screaming, "I want to go to a different district." Those are people I would love it if they give me the voice. Like, when my superintendent of my district says, "How are you, Jeremy?" and shows that she wants to actually talk to me, I'd love that. It gives me an opportunity to talk to somebody who's in a place where I would love to go. Now, he might not want to be a coach, but as a human being, if you want to grow as a human being, how do you not know more about Robert Saleh and let him be a mentor to you? It makes no sense. No, I'm going to go for the guy that was a manic depressant who wanted to kill himself, and I had to talk him off the ledge. Now he's a guy I'm going to listen to about life advice. Really? Really? It's ridiculous. Here's the thing with me. I remember movie quotes, even though I haven't seen the film in 2 decades. I think I may be autistic. That's my hidden talent. Maybe, man. Maybe. I love that. I love that. Because I tell our kids with autism, I say it all the time. What's your secret talent? We just gotta find your talent. I remember details in my life and I go to my friends, remember that time? And they look at me like I'm nuts. Like I remember little things. Green Bean's the worst because he's the worst memory of details. Because I'll say to him, he'll say something like, I invented that, right? And I'll be like, no, Green Bean. We had a conversation. The pods, like the peas in a pod, was totally my idea. And he forgot that. And I showed him a picture of me and another improv guy. The name of our 2-person troupe was 2 Peas in a Pod. And that was why I got the idea for him to call it Were Your Peas in a Pod. And a couple of months, he said, yeah, that's great. And he did it. And then a couple of months later, he started saying, wow, it's so crazy. What a coincidence that you were in an improv troupe called Peas in a Pod. Now you're a pea. I said, no. That's why we're called Peas in a Pod, Green Bean, because I told you the idea. But I'm just saying, he might get pissed at me saying that if he doesn't remember it, but he doesn't remember details, which is why he might get pissed. I remember everything. Every conversation, everything. Drives my wife crazy because I remember everything. So maybe we're a lot alike, Dark Soldier. I don't remember names though. Like I'll say, the actor, the guy that's in all the movies, the guy, the guy that's in every movie, like I'll do that a lot. I'm the same age as Mark. Confirm I'm also a dumbass. We're dumb in certain ways. Like we could always look back. I'll tell you in life, this is what's going to happen. Every 10 years of your life, you're going to look back 10 years and say, boy, was I stupid. Because I could look at when I was 41 and say, boy, I was stupid. I could look at when I was 31. Boy, was I stupid. When I was 21, I was just raging stupid. But it doesn't mean you really are. It means that you get wiser and wiser and wiser. And I might be wrong. I might be dumber than I was 10 years ago. But you're always going to believe, I hope, in yourself that you're smarter than you were 10 years ago. So it's good that you recognize it now. But look, I mean, at the same time, as much as I say I'm getting smarter, I look at a guy like John Nolte and I say I'm dumb and I'm a dumbass because John Nolte knows, he's been around almost a decade longer than I have. So John Nolte, I would say the same thing to him. I'd say, I'm a dumbass. But it's important to have that vulnerability, that ability to admit, I don't know everything. And I'm going to do stupid things. And we need to hope Elijah Moore has that vulnerability because some people some people it's too late, right? It'll be like when he's 50 or 45 and his career's over and he'll realize, boy, I was a dumbass, and it'll be too late because he has the opportunity to be. It's so much better when you're high character and talented. There's such a difference. People remember you so much more. The example is Brandon Marshall or Wayne Corbett. You know how much more loved Wayne Corbett is than Brandon Marshall? You know how hard it would be to find somebody that's a Jet fan that would ever say Brandon Marshall over Wayne Corbett? Because Wayne Corbett was so much better character-wise, right? He was such a better character. In character, he was so much of a better person. It's for all our players. It's like Gastineau and Klecko. Klecko is 50 times more popular. You know why? Gastineau left the team for a girl. We still love what he did. It's impossible to not love what he did on the field. But you didn't see all of this Jets fan base fighting that Gastineau should be in the Hall of Fame, right? You saw us fighting for Klecko. Why? Character. So Elijah Moore's making a huge mistake because when it's all said and done, the money's the money. He's going to be rich either way. Whether you have 50 million, 100 million, 80 million, that's not happiness. I'm telling you. I mean, I want money. I just need enough money to not have to work for somebody else to get to do what I want to do and make my own choices, right? So people have their different needs of what's real money to them. Mine is give me 3 or 4 million, live off the interest. My wife could continue doing the things she wants to do, get us covered with the medical benefits and all that crap. Let her do her therapy online. She's gonna be a therapist, have a good time, love that. I'm gonna just do YouTube, and I'm not gonna care if I make money or not because I got 3 or 4 million in the bank making me interest. That would be my dream. That's all I would ever need. I don't care about big fancy houses or big fancy cars. I just want the freedom to do what I want to do. Right? For me, that's enough. And I think that's why, and if you agree with me and you're like that, that's why you're happy. That's why you could be happy. If you're someone that needs 80 million or 80 million is not enough, so you need 120 million, that's sad. Because if you think the difference between 80 and 120 million is going to impact your happiness over how you conducted yourself as a human being throughout your life, you're wrong. And that's the hardest thing to convince young people. Every decision you make, the way you live your life affects who you are. It affects how you feel about yourself and how you spent your time. And it is too late to go back and change it. And that's the sad thing about Elijah Moore if he doesn't change. Because he's never going to be able to go back. Antonio Brown is never going to be able to go back and change. He could have been on the top 20 list of legendary receivers. He was amazing. And now he's remembered as a joke, as a clown, as somebody who's still good enough to be a good receiver in this league, but won't get hired. And he has to live with that. And when you get older and wiser, that's pain and regret. Because even when we're happy and having good lives, we have pain and regret. There's pain and regret. I have regret for things that I did, for friends that I lost, for things that I said, people that I hurt. Regret that I could never get rid of. I can only try to be the best person I can moving forward. So anybody who's younger, you're 22 out there, Nick, just know that every decision you make in your life, you live with forever. You can make it better. It doesn't ruin your life, but it's part of who you are and it matters. So doing the right thing matters. It's going to matter in your life later. It's more than money because believe me, he'll have money. Elijah Moore's going to have money. He'll go wherever he wants to go. He'll stay in great hotels. He'll have his beautiful house. He'll have his pool table or his own little Starbucks built into his basement. He'll have everything. He's going to have it. And I'm telling you, once you have all that, what does it mean? What do you do now? When you're 40, when you're 38, 37, 36, and your career's over, what now? What's next? You want to have kids and a family? Okay. Now you have to explain to your kids on the internet when no one liked you. Yeah, I was a star player. I was great. Why did thousands of people hate you? Why did they say you were a traitor? Why did they say you were low character? Now you have to explain that to your kid because it's going to live on the internet forever. And you have to explain that. It could have been private. Nobody had to know that you were upset, that you had this meltdown. Nobody had to know that for a second you wanted to trade before maybe you changed your mind. Nobody had to know that. You put it out there. You did that in the world. Now your kids will know about it. The world will know about it. Your family, your friends, everyone you're ever friends with will know that when you were 22, you did that. And you have to live with that forever. So it's like, if I'm the person that Elijah Moore needs to talk to, if he'll listen, or anyone that has life experience that understands what happened. I understand what happened to him. I can help him not let it happen again. I could, because I do it for kids all the time. And it's sad, because if he doesn't realize it and he doesn't fix it, this is what he's going to live with from 35 to the rest of his life. And he will regret it because he'll think, how good could I have been? How much could I have done as a person if I was less selfish? And I don't care about, and I'm sick of the charity thing, right? The charity that they make sure everybody know that they're doing it. Yeah, you make millions and you gave your $200,000 and you did this organization. I get it. Thank you. I would do it too. We'd all do it if we had millions of dollars. You give to charity, you give to your community. That's great. I'm not putting it down, but I'm saying that doesn't erase good things. Don't erase the bad things, right? When I mess up and I do something shitty to my wife, cooking her dinner is nice and that makes her happy for that moment. It doesn't undo the shitty thing I did. It doesn't. It's the same thing. You could do whatever you want to do and you could live your life and feel better about those things, but you still have to carry the baggage of what you did. And that's what he needs to understand. He's going to have to carry this baggage. This is something he could never let go of. He can get forgiveness from all of us. He could become a great Jet for the rest of his career, but he will carry this bag for the rest of his life. He will. Because we hold on to all these kind of things in our life. We do. Right? Think about it. Think about the big things that happen in your life. They stay with us forever. John Nolte knows. Boy, does he have regrets. He thought it would be funny to mess with other people's lunch. The guy, they were sitting on a construction site on a big beam, and the guy took a bite, and it surprised him, and he fell, and he gets paralyzed. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. But I just wanted, for a few moments there, I'd love to have seen John Nolte's face. But Cass, great show. Just know, Jets will eat the Broncos for breakfast and shit them out for lunch. Well, hopefully it won't hurt as much as me shitting out 13 shots of hot sauce. That I hope. Okay. No, his favorite food is not green bean. Tom, what's up? What's going on, buddy? Good to see you, brother. I don't remember faces. I don't remember names, but what the hell? But what the hell is just as well? Because after a while and 1,000 miles, they all become the same. Billy Joel. I don't remember faces. I don't remember names. What the hell is just as well? Because after a while and 1,000 miles, they all become the same. I need the music to sing it right. That's my brother, everybody. That's Matthew. That's the middle brother. The middle brother. And he knows what I'm talking about when he says you carry everything you do, every decision you make. You live with it forever. You can never undo it. I'm terrible at remembering names, although I should stop saying that to myself. What's up? Samini knew and Zimmerman flew. Tyler flew and Zimmerman knew. Samini knew more was a problem. Rich was the goat for Bird Dog and this clown. Oh. See, you're saying that Rich Samini knew and targeted him. Soldier doesn't like that, man. I don't like that either. I think he's a troublemaker. But you know what? If he knew, then he's good at what he does because his job is to get the story. And he made a story. I went over the peak. I'm forgetting shit like crazy now. You're that old, man? Take a mature mentality to grasp the teen concept. You know what the saddest thing in the world is, Lugo? And you might agree with this, is that by the time you have all the wisdom, it's always too late for when you were living it. You know what I mean? You never have the wisdom. And the only way to get it ahead of time, and some of the things I was able to, the only way to get the wisdom ahead of time is to actually trust and listen to people you're older. But we're so programmed to not do that. But luckily, I listened to some things in my life. Lee, you all know Lee Cravat. Lee Cravat taught me never charge more on a credit card than you could afford to pay at the end of the month. He taught me that, and and I lived by that. And because of that, I was never in that kind of debt. He said the only kind of debt you should ever be in is school loan, which I don't even know if I agree with anymore, and home mortgage, and maybe possibly car, but only if you get a low interest rate. I get 0% on my car, so the world changed. So I didn't even have to have a 0% an interest rate on a car. But anyway, that's what he taught me. And let me tell you something. When I was younger and working and getting money and single and having roommates and not having high expenses in my life, it was just because I made good decisions and I was able to put myself in a better situation. So that was wisdom I chose to accept from someone before it was too late. But there were other things that I didn't accept advice and I had to learn for myself. And the sad thing is, it's too late. You get to the age and you can't go back and undo it. You can't go back and live it again and fix it. But you got to look at all the decisions you make and balance them together and say, am I happy where I am? And you just have to accept it. Jeremy would be happy to live walking distance from a White Castle, DeFaro Pizza, dim sum restaurant. Well, I could do that in Staten Island. There's a DeFaro Pizza, and a block within the same block, there's another pizza place that Sack Exchange took me to. That's even better or just as good that I loved. And in Staten Island, there is a White Castle that probably isn't far from that on Highland Boulevard. And I would imagine there's a dim sum restaurant because Staten Island is everything now. It's like booming with stores and restaurants. And so I think I would have to live on Staten Island. And that's a place I could make that all happen. Another option is not the Faro Pizza, but if I lived in Vegas, Vegas has a White Castle. Vegas definitely has dim sum. They don't have the Faro Pizza, but Vegas has Grimaldi's Pizza. And Vegas has like 3 popular New York steakhouses, including Peter Luger's. And they have Ramsey Gordon's Hell's Kitchen, where I can get what's that thing called? Forgetting the name now, beef Wellington and risotto. So there's a lot of places I could live and be really happy. Oh, that was a long time ago. That was when I was talking about all I want with money. One second. The answer is Matt. You changed the answer to Matt Cravat. I don't know how he feels about Matt Cravat. Most people call him Matthew. Right, Matthew? I mean, I think I grew up calling him Matt. I grew up calling him Newton, but that's a whole nother story. I'm a wide receiver. I'm a legend in my day. I bitch about my pass reps because I'm thinking about my pay. Sung to Billy Joel's Entertainer. That's awesome, Nolte. You write parodies? I am a wide receiver. I'm a legend in my day. I bitch about my pass reps because I'm thinking about my pay. Youth is wasted on the young. Yes, that is brilliant. Who said that? That you, Iowan? That's your quote. That's a good quote. Youth is wasted on the young because if I could go back, the things I could change and do. Funny. If I can go back just to 2010, what I would do, I don't even know if I have to go back that far, but there's a time I can go back and I could buy Bitcoin for about 3 cents a Bitcoin. I would just go put every penny into Bitcoin if I can go back in time when it was like 3 cents and just be a billionaire. Everybody talks about the companies they'd invest in. Bitcoin. If you can go back in time, Bitcoin. Because you can get into Bitcoin when it was 3 pennies per coin. Slugo, of course we did. There were 26 and 27 by the end of it. I don't know what you're answering. Lee Cravat taught me never to take a walk in the past because the past is like Alabama. Did he really tell you that? I think we have somebody here that lives in Alabama, so careful, Matthew. Careful. What does that make me think about? Lee Cravat taught me to never rip Lee Mazzilli. So that's a long story that we can one day come back to. That's what's up. Elijah's buddies think they're helping him, but they're actually hurting him. And Edward, how often have we seen that story? Like, how many athletes and entertainers have we seen fall and ruin their lives or damage their lives or set their lives so far back? It's such a common story, and it's always the people around them. Mike Tyson, right? He lost the real guy. He lost the father figure. Costamato died, and Mike Tyson went, right? Don King came, and all kinds of other guys came. Never had the right people around them. And it's amazing that they can't learn from all these people. It's happened so many times to so many people, and they won't learn how important it is to have the right people around you. Like, I already know if I ever won lotto or if I ever got famous, doing this, what if I became famous? Whatever it was, I always know, stay true to your friends, your real friends, right? The people you trusted before any of it happened. The people that loved you before. The people that are not after something. And the people you know are good people who have shown it and modeled it in their life. I'm lucky because I got 2 older brothers. So as long as they're alive, I got my people. And then Matthew has a son that, even though he's younger than me, is my nephew. I would just utilize him the rest of my life if I had to, because he's younger, so he'll always be there, hopefully, knock on wood, God willing. And we're atheists, so that's a silly thing to do. But anyway, like Matthew and then my nephew, I always know I have at least 2 people I could talk to that are going to give me very rational, well-thought advice. you know? And then I got tons more because I got my oldest brother and I got his wife and my middle Matthew's wife. And then I got my wife who's completely rational most of the time about most things in life that aren't about our relationship. Or of course, like every wife, she's a lunatic. You know what I mean? So like these are the people that you have to keep in your life. Like, and it's, you have to be so careful. You know what I mean? You have to be so careful about who you let into your life and who you're going to surround yourself with and listen to and allow you to make decisions. Because the new people that come are almost always after bad. Let me see. I had to deal with this. Oh, done in 15 minutes. I don't know when you texted me, honey, so I don't know. 8:21, it's 8:25. That means I got 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to start to wrap it up. I've been talking for a while. An hour and 50 minutes of just me talking. Well, that's not fair to you guys. Without the chat, I would not have been able to keep talking. But yeah, they're definitely hurting them. They're hurting them. If they were real friends, because okay, so if I have a friend with a problem that I don't think I can help them with, a real friend says, let me refer you to someone that I know that could really help you. Right? I'm not going to have to make myself, well, I'm going to look, I might give the best advice I can, but I say, hey, I'm no expert. But I know somebody. And I'm here to listen. Right? And you listen. The friends that aren't good friends are the ones that say what they want. They pump you up because they want you to hear what they think you want them to say, because they want to be closer to you. And they don't want to. The best friends are the ones that are brutally honest. And it's like, even if they're saying something you don't want to hear. The best friends I ever had are the ones that say things whether I want to hear it or not. You know what I mean? Always start with family if you can. Family have no problem telling you the brutal truth. If I'm acting like a total asshole, my brothers have no problem telling me that. So, you know, and my sister-in-laws don't either. Neither do my nieces or nephews. And neither does my wife. John Nolte, my buddy went camping in Alabama. He hasn't heard himself fart ever since. What the hell are you people talking about? I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Who's honey, Jeremy? Who's honey? My honey is my wife. We call each other honey sometimes. I never thought I'd be one of those guys. Honey. Like honey is like stuff that bees make. Why am I calling her honey? Is it because I'm saying that she's sweet? Okay. Meanwhile, she's not cooking for me today. I have to make her those cocktails. It's called a Mechanical Bull. It's her favorite drink from this bar that's downtown Sacramento. And we decided to make it ourselves. And I've come close enough where she just is like, please make me the Mechanical Bull. It is a bourbon-based drink. So I hope we have bourbon that's like Costco and not like bourbon, because I'm not mixing a real bourbon. She better be ready, understand that. But the truth is I could use whiskey and she'd never know the difference because she doesn't know the difference between whiskey and bourbon. And then I could take simple syrup to sweeten a little bit. And then what's the name of it? Flora Blanca. For Blanca, it's some Italian liqueur. You go 50-50 with that and the bourbon. You put in the syrup, the simple syrup, probably about, I don't know, half a shot. And then you put in mint. Like, so you rub a mint leaf around the rim and you drop the mint leaf into the drink with the ice. Put some ice in, you shake it up. It's a shake drink. And lemon juice. So lemon juice, 50-50 bourbon for a Blanca, simple syrup, shake it up all really hard, pour it over ice, shake it up with ice and then pour it over ice. And then you take a piece of ginger. Now we use the candied ginger and we put a whole bag of it. So we'd have it for this cocktail. And then you stick the piece of ginger on the rim and there you go. You got yourself a Mechanical Bull. So bold move, calling what out on a telecast? That I'm gonna sneak in whiskey? Like, which I gotta know now what you're talking about, Knob. What's the bold move? Oh, Costco bourbon. That's some highbrow shit right there. Well, look, you don't if you're mixing, you don't use. I'm not going to use a $60-$70 bottle of bourbon if I'm mixing. I'm sorry. That's for pouring in a glass, maybe 1 cube. You know what I mean? And my wife even agrees with that. Honey is bee vomit. Somebody's saying not when you turn it into mead. Not when you make mead, my friends. I have a strawberry jalapeno mead that will knock you on your ass. It is delicious. That she cannot differentiate the difference between an inferior palate. It's not an inferior palate. She just hasn't drank enough bourbon or whiskey to know. I can't even guarantee you that I would know. I base it on like oakiness. Like the only reason I think I'd have any chance of knowing is that it's more of like of a smoky or a oaky kind of taste, whereas bourbon seems to have a little bit more of a caramel type thing going on. But I'm no expert at it either, Knob. I'm just growing into the age of being someone that could drink whiskey and bourbon and scotch and all those things. So I'm in the very early stages of that. Snacks. When I was a kid, I loved Manischewitz. I'm not going to lie. Thanks, Jeremy. Got to go. Jets are 4-2. Young and good. Go Jets. All right, Sluggo. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I'm going to be going soon as well. My brother just ordered a bunch of mead. Well, when I'm visiting, we will drink it. Actually, I still have a mead left that we got when we left, and maybe we'll drink some tonight. I still have the vanilla oak barrel, and I have a strawberry. What was it? Strawberry Pinot or strawberry jalapeno? You know what I'm talking about. I still have one of those. We still have some mead left. How long can an open one last, Matthew? Because we have an open one that's like 4 or 5 months already. I'm guessing it's done. Mead is tasty. It is tasty. Pour it on Poppy Van Winkle. You like old granddad? I don't know, man. I don't know anything. Where can I find mead? Well, the place in North Carolina ships, so you can order the mead. If you don't have a meadery in Iowa, there's a place here in California, and the other not so far from Sacramento. But the place that we really like is in North Carolina. Where is it, Matthew? In Durham, I think it's Durham. If my brother's still here, he'll write the name of the company. You could look it up on the website. I don't know if they ship to Iowa. It depends if it's legal to ship alcohol to you. But if you're someone who's able to get wine shipped to you, then you could definitely order mead that way. And then if you go into just wine stores, like if you go, I don't know if you have Beverages and More or Total Wine or any of those kind of places, they're not going to have as many choices. I would recommend, I'll give you the name of the meadery that we go to, because going to like the smaller meaderies, when you find one that you love, we found one that we really love. So I would always recommend it. If you're in if you're in Total Wine, you have to go by recommendations and just do your best and hope that they recommend a good one. But Matthew said, before I do the Durham one, I prefer from here a lot. Oh, Groenfell. So there's a link for you right there, buddy. Iowa. If you're able to have alcohol sent to you, then there you go. There you go. Oh, look, Lee's here. Sleep time. Have fun. Mom and Dad say hi. Tell him hello. Tell him hello. I'm going to go make Jocelyn some booze. But Total Wine, man, it's a great place. We have Bevmo in California and Total Wine. So we have a choice. Those are two hell of great places. But guys, never underestimate Costco. Never underestimate Costco. Costco is not only a great place for wine, as my brother will tell you. Costco, the barrel aged bourbon is awesome. Their vodka, the French vodka, whatever, that is Grey Goose, my friend. We did the taste test. It's Grey Goose. So and I would say the American Kirkland vodka, which is about $15, it's like $5 cheaper. That's like, I'm not saying it is absolute, but it's like the level of absolute vodka. It's absolute. It's a call brand. It's not a house brand. It's not a crappy one. It's like a real vodka. We do martinis, so we get the French one because we like it like Grey Goose quality. So the one in Durham, Iowa is Honey Girl Meadery. That's the one we have a lot of. So strawberry jalapeno is a flavor they've had. The vanilla flavors are really good. And then my brother just named the other one. So maybe me and Jocelyn have to try that one too. But meads are fun because they come in lots of different flavors, and you can find one that you really like. I like Tito's a lot, Twisted. I do. From Texas, I do. I really like cranberry juice and Tito's a lot. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Total Wine sells mead. They better. I would imagine. Like, I never really bought mead there, Edward, but as soon as you said Total Wine, I was like 100%. Yeah. Like, how wouldn't they? You know. Anyway, guys, take care. Hope I didn't offend too many people. I know I was kind of angry and pissed for a part of this talking about Elijah Moore, but let's face it, man, this was a big deal, and it's lucky I didn't talk about it. It's lucky I didn't talk about it 2 days ago because you didn't see me in the beginning. I was not happy. But anyway, I am going to, man, I can't play me and my brother's promo until I get the Elijah Moore out of it. Doesn't that stink? I'll give you my what am I going to give you? My Jets draft promo to say goodbye. Take care, guys. Later. See you on Sunday for the game. I'll be with Green Bean. Get on there, be part of it. I'm going to go absolutely nuts. Jacob Finnegan, 49ers Chaos, baby. You got it. Take care, everyone.
Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh, my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh, my God. They don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh, my God. No edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Lily, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get Jacoby Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. Wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge.